How to get a business checking account with bad credit. All businesses need a bank account, especially a checking account. But people with bad credit have been struggling to get this and they feel like they cannot, but that is not true. I am here to tell you, yes, you can, and I am here to help. Let's go. I'm going to share with you the real way to get this done without the embarrassment or the hassle of applying to the wrong bank so that they can tell you no and further ruin your credit. I'm going to tell you the right way to do it. 2, I'm going to give you the best and only banks that you should be applying to so that you can get this done fast. You don't want this process to drag out. And 3, I'm going to give you the secret tool that you need so that you can be successful in this. So the first thing that you are going to have to contend with if you have bad credit and you are trying to get a business checking account, you're gonna have to deal with the fact that you have bad credit, okay? So we have to overcome that. And the quickest and easiest way to overcome that is to assess your situation. What is your credit score? What is on your personal credit? Once you kind of know that, you can kind of assess your situation and start talking about how to actually do this. And in order to actually do this with personal credit that is not the best, you're going to actually have a business that looks really good, okay? So let's talk about how you do that, because it doesn't mean that your business is making millions of dollars or anything like that. But in order to do this, you actually need a real business. They're going to want to make sure that you have the business set up, that you have the business registered with the state, that you have your LLC or your S Corp or your C Corp or whatever you decide, that you have your EIN number, that you have a phone number, that you have an email, that you have an address for your business, okay? So getting those basic things set up for your business is going to be a must if you have bad personal credit, because you have to have all of the T's dotted with what they need for the business so that they never even look at some of those other stuff. Let's talk about which banks you want to go to. So many people think that they should go to the bank that they already deal with, and sometimes you may already have a checking account with one of these big banks. But unfortunately, they are probably not going to give you a business checking account if you have really bad personal credit. You're going to have to go find a new bank. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, even though because I'm going to give you my story. When I first got my business checking account, it was with Wells Fargo. Okay? Just being honest with you, because I already worked for Wells Fargo. I was, as some of you already know, I was a manager for many years at Wells Fargo, and I had a pretty good career there. And so I had a personal checking account because I used to be one of their team members. And so when I went and I said, I'm going to start my business, while I was still working, I went to Wells Fargo and got a business checking account. But that is not what I'm going to tell you guys to do. Like I said, I'll tell you the stuff that I did just so I'm being honest, but I'm going to tell you a better way that is working now for people that are in your situation. Like I said, because I was an employee of the bank and already had an account with them, that's probably why they gave it to me with bad credit. But I'm not going to tell you to do that, because I know if you don't work for them and all this other stuff, they're probably not going to give it to you. And I've had enough experience to see who they will give a business checking account to and who they won't. So if you're going into the situation and you have situations where you have bad personal credit, but more importantly, where you have an issue with a bank, like you have written bad checks or you bounced checks or you had a lot of overdrafts. Many banks use a system called checks systems, and they report through all of the banks, and all of the major big banks use this to decide if they're going to give you an account or not. But you don't have to use those banks, okay? So I'm gonna give you 2 options. So say you don't have terrible credit, it's just bad, but it's not terrible. You've never written any bad credits or anything like that. You wanna go to like a mid-sized bank, okay? And there's 2 reasons why you wanna do this. So let me give you first what a mid-sized bank is, what I mean by that. So again, your large, big banks, we know, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, blah, blah, blah. Those are the big banks. Stay away from them if you don't have good credit. Then there's mid-sized banks, banks the size like SunTrust, BB&T, Regions Bank, PNC. Gosh, I could go on and on, but hopefully you guys are getting where I'm saying not the big bank, but that bank that's like big, they're in a few states. They're not just in one state. They're not just, that one bank around your corner. We don't want a small hometown bank. But that mid-sized bank, that is the sweet spot for entrepreneurs. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because yes, they will probably give you a checking account, but they'll probably give you even more than that. They'll probably give you credit lines, credit cards, and a bunch of other stuff because they're a little bit more hungry. The next place you want to try is credit unions, okay? So most of the times your credit union will give you a business checking account if you have a relationship established with them or if you establish a relationship with them. They're actually pretty easy to set up. Not all credit unions, though, offer business checking accounts to everyone. That is a really weird thing. I'm going to be honest with you, because some of your credit unions, that's not their specialty. They really are focused on employees of a certain type of thing. So many of them don't, but a lot of credit unions do, and they are a great option if you have bad personal credit. If you're looking for a business checking account, a credit union is going to be a great option. Another option, and this is not for everyone, if you are a veteran or if you are military related, you have USAA or Navy Federal or a bank like that is military related, you want to try them. Most of the time they will do it, okay? A lot of times their requirements are a little bit more lax, or they are a lot more friendly to people that are veterans. So military related type banks are also another great option. And then here's the secret sauce, okay? Because this did not even exist a few years ago. This is actually why I tell you, do not watch old videos. Do not watch videos from 5 and 10 years ago. I am so sorry, do not. Because often they have a lot of old information and things change. So let me tell you what's going on. There's some new banks out there. They are called second chance banks, okay? AZLO, AZLO, that is one, okay? They're backed by BBVA. Another one, SoFi, SOFI, okay? They are giving out bank accounts to people with bad credit. They are second chance banks. Have you ever been to Walmart and seen Wood Forest National or First Convenience Bank, okay? And are you laughing? Or some of you are like, wait, I've seen that bank inside of Walmart. Yes, those are second chance banks, and those are the locations and the banks that you should be targeting if you have bad credit. I know for a fact those two banks are giving out business checking accounts to people, and they are not checking and making, you know, these rigorous requirements. So you really want to try some of those second chance banks that I just named. Okay, so now that you have gotten your business checking account, go ahead and check out that video about how to get business funding with bad credit so you can put all of this together. I am out here giving you all of this information for free because I care about you and your success. To your success.